Hey guys, and first achievement done for Knock It Out November. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is The Booked Path and I'm Nicole. If you are new, hi. And if you've been sticking around with me, thank you so much for being on this journey with me. As many of you know, I have been participating in Knock It Out November for this month, and I have completed my first goal, and that was to read a series or binge a series I already started, and I did the Infernal Devices series. As many of you know, I had read The Clockwork Angel, I think it was back in September, so I just needed to knock it out with Clockwork Prince and Clockwork Princess. And binge read, I did. I loved this series, so I figured I would just do my own little review of the Infernal Devices as a separate video from the rest of the Knock It Out November books that I've been reading. Sadly, these ones have been taking up a little bit more of my time for November, so I am starting to pummel through the rest of the books that I have listed for this month, so stay tuned for more videos on that. So let's get into it. And was this series as good as people were saying? Yes, it was. Clockwork Angel, you can probably see more of this on my October video, but and I will link that below, but I'll go ahead and give you a little bit more of a review of it in a sec. I'm gonna give you a basic overview of what this series is kind of about. You have Victorian England, but this is kind of a different Victorian England than what we know, because you have what they call downworlders, and downworlders are supernatural creatures, vampires, warlocks, werewolves, golems, you know, all sorts of supernatural creatures. You also have, I think it's the Nephilim, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but they are known as the Shadow Hunters, and they are the descendants of angels. And it is the Shadow Hunter's duty to kind of keep the peace. And so in this world, you also have humans. Humans are referred to as mundanes, and many of them walk through Victorian London without ever really knowing about this supernatural side to them. It's in this world that you meet the main character, or one of the main characters, but she's kind of the one that you enter the world through, and that is Tessa. And Tessa is from America. She is, I think she's 16. And she's grown up in America with her brother and her aunt. And her aunt has just passed away. Her brother had previously gone to England for work. And she got a letter once her aunt passed away saying, you need to come to England. I'll take care of you. I'll protect you from her brother, Nathan. And so she hops on a ship, gets over to England, and as soon as she gets onto English soil, she is kidnapped by two witchy sisters. They are not the good kind of witches, and they kind of put her through a series of trials where she finds out she has an ability to shapeshift. But she doesn't just shapeshift, she's able to tack on to the memories and the mannerisms and emotions of the person, of an object that she comes into contact with. They say it's for some big plan. She doesn't know what's going on. While she's being kind of held hostage, some shadow hunters break in and find her. And that was not their intention to find her, but they find her. And the one that finds her is named Will Herondale, and he is one of the younger shadow hunters. I believe he's about 17, and his partner is Jem, and he's also 17, and they rescue her. They bring her to the London Institute, which is basically the London section for the Shadow Hunters. There she meets more Shadow Hunters, and they try to figure out what is going on, and you find out that there is this big plan involving a warlock called Mortman, who basically has it in for the Shadow Hunters, wants to eliminate them, and somehow along the lines, he needs Tessa in order to do that. That is the major plot for this. So, as we get into it, let's go book by book, break it down just a little bit more. So the first book up is Clockwork Angel. This one I gave 4 stars. It was really good, but I think because it was the beginning book, you have a lot of setup, character setup, structure setup. So it's kind of just getting used to it, and a lot more information getting your way, and the plot kind of starts happening later on. Not to say that there's not plot in there. There is, and it was really good. It's just, to me, it wasn't as good as the other 2. This is the one where you're seeing the setup, where she's kidnapped, where she's freed. I can spoil that because that is the very beginning, and then it goes from there. I also felt you do sneak upon pretty quickly, you know, there's going to be a love triangle between Tessa, Will, and Jem. For me, I kind of knew who she was going to end up with within the first book. So from then on, it was just kind of seeing how that kind of progressed. For me, I know there's a lot of people that are like, are you Team Will or Team Jem? I really liked both of them. I saw how they kind of completed Tess. You have Jem, who is like a very good guy, very gentlemanly, but he's also very ill because of drugs that were basically put into his system. Something similar to, like, I don't want to say it, like, it's not opium, but it's similar to that. At that time, it's kind of like a magical one. It's called like Yin-Fen, and you start to learn that in the first book. So it's his journey for that, and kind of just the things that he goes through from the illness of that. But he's more slender framed. He has white hair, like silver eyes, very pale because of the illness, but very sweet, very caring, very thoughtful, just a really, really great, you know, guy. And then you have Will, and Will is more stubborn. He tends to push people away. There is a reason for it that you get into later on in the books, but he's sarcastic, he's witty, he can be very charming when he wants to be. He's also built more muscular than Jem. He has darker, like almost black hair, and like what they call like almost like brilliantly gemstone blue eyes. Like, he's just very good looking. I would say I'd have to be Team Will, just because as much as I like Jem, I feel like it's more of an admiration for his character, because he's just kind of like, he's just a really good guy that is just sweet, and you like being around him, but I don't know about like the love part. But Will I like because of his personality. I like the snarkiness. I like the witty comments. I like that he's got this little wild streak in him. And, you know, stature-wise, I've never really liked guys who are more slender and more of that gentlemanly. I don't know. So I like Team Will, but I do like Team Jem too. There are some moments where Jem just, but you know, they're both great. So getting back to the story now, you get into the world, you start to figure out what's going on. You meet the members of the council, who are kind of like parliament for the Shadowhunter world. And they're trying to figure out what to do with Tess, because at this point, because Mortman wants her, they don't know, is she a liability or is she an asset? And at the same time, you have that love triangle going on in the background between Will and Tess and Jem. It's starting. So like I said, it was good. It's a good introduction, but for me, it was 4 stars just because it was that introduction, but still a really good read. So then next is Clockwork Prince. And I believe this is actually, I think this is Will on the cover of this one. This is Jem on this cover, and then I think it's Tessa on the cover of this one. I'm actually possibly going to look into getting the paperback versions, because I love the paperback covers a little bit better than this. These are the books that I borrowed from my mother-in-law, so I can get my own now that I'm addicted to the series, you know. But Clockwork Prince is the second book in the trilogy, and it's my favorite out of all of them. It was 5 stars for me. Because you've got the background from Clockwork Angel, you kind of dive right into the storyline, and this book is filled with tension. There is tension coming up in the relationship between Tess and Will and Jem. You're in the first book, you see a lot more of what's going on with Will and Tess. In this book, you're starting to see more what Jem's feelings are in this and get into his relationship with Tessa. But you do still get some of the background for Will. Why is he being quite a little jerk? But you're also getting into the tension that's going on in the Institute itself. You have some bonds that were broken. You have some betrayals that happen. You have even Elizabeth and Henry, who kind of run the Institute. They're a married couple. You kind of see the tension in their relationship as well, and kind of what their thoughts are on their marriage. So I'm like, there is just a lot of relationships that are just kind of being put to the test in this. And towards the end, tensions kind of rise, things have to happen, and you kind of get to see everybody's true feelings. Everybody's real feelings kind of come out in this book. It's probably why I liked it, because it was just like, it kept going, the tension, and then now all is revealed type, as far as the relationships and the emotions go. You also get introduced to the Lightwood brothers a little bit more. They make a little bit of an appearance in the first book, but they start to come out more in this one. There is tension on whether Elizabeth is suitable to heading the London Institute. So like I said, just a lot of tension surmounting, and you still have Mortman, what's going on there. And it was just, I think this one was probably high stakes emotional relationship book for me out of the trilogy, and maybe that's why I gravitated towards it. I don't know, but this one was definitely my favorite out of the 3, 5 stars. So then you come to the last book, which is Clockwork Princess, and this one is probably the more action-packed out of all 3 books. You have a lot more fight sequences in this one, a lot more battle scenes. A lot of the emotional relationship turmoil has kind of been laid to rest in the second one. There is still obviously the question of the love triangle with Jess and Jem and Will at this point. You also get to meet, towards the end of book 2 and into book 3, Will's sister Cecily makes an appearance. That is a mini spoiler, just because I'm not going to tell you too much, but you kind of figure out. And I love Cecily. She is funny and witty. She is like the female Will that you've met. Like, she's got snarkiness, she's got wittiness, stubbornness to a fold. She's just kind of like, she's a strong girl. Like, she will kick your butt. So I really liked her. Towards the end of this book, there were a few scenes that I won't give away, but they were ones that did have a momentary emotional shocker for me, because I wasn't expecting that. Like, I kind of was expecting certain things to happen, but not that it would involve that specific character. So good on them. The ending was really good, and then they went into an epilogue, and at first the epilogue to me was kind of like, I think this might be a bit much. Then they got the emotional start going. I didn't cry. I didn't even get the lump in my throat, but I started getting that, dryness that precedes the lump in your throat before you start getting the waterworks. Like, it was getting there. Had it kept going, I might have. If this gets made into a movie, I kid you not, I would box of tissues, because it would get me in a movie. Oh, yes, get me in a movie. But then towards the end of the epilogue, how everything just kind of came full circle and wrapped up, it was just like one of those, like, you're like, yes, yes. It was just one of those kind of endings, and it shaped things up for me to really want to continue this series. I looked into it, I think, because I'm reading it chronologically, not in the order it was published or the order this, the stories went. I want to know chronologically, how did things start to progress to go to there? So Chain of Iron, Chain of Thorns, and Chain of Gold are the next like trilogy to kind of read in this before the Mortal Instruments series. And I think, is it Chain of Gold? One of them doesn't come out until January, so my mother-in-law's already pre-ordered it. She has the other two, so she's gonna let me borrow the other two. And I'm gonna just keep continuing with this because I really liked this. I am really scared because I have heard that the Infernal Devices series is the best among the Mortal Instruments series, the Cassandra Clare Shadowhunter world in general. So if I just read the best of them, like that means everything is downhill from here. But I highly doubt that. I mean, the world that they create is so good. And I really liked it. You could visualize that Victorian London. You could visualize how the shops were, how these characters looked, how they came to life, the London Institute, the rooms, like it was very atmospheric. And I loved that. And I really, really did love the characters. I'm kind of sad to see this group of characters go, but I'm excited because now I know the names of, you know, the Herondales, Will's Line, the Lightwoods, the Fairchilds, you know, the Waylands and everything. And so to see in Mortal Instruments, they have similar family names, you're getting the descendants story. So I'm really excited to just keep going and see. So stay tuned for that. Couple of other things I will say about this. So my favorite characters, obviously I said I lean slightly more towards Team Will than Team Jem, although I really do like them. Tessa, for me, I liked her. She's a good character, but I felt in times where I wanted to see her I kind of wanted her to become the Cecily, as far as becoming like the bad chick that could like kick your butt and everything. But she kind of remains this sort of damsel in distress at points, because she's always the one that everybody's kind of trying to protect at times, even though she's been going through training. She fights a little bit, but not as much as I would have liked. But I do still I like her character. I like how you see the real inner struggle with her, trying to sort out her feelings for Jem and Will, because she really does love them both. She has to make a choice, and you really do kind of feel like gut-wrenched for her, because either way, somebody's going to get hurt. And to make matters worse, you know, Will and Jem are like brothers. They are best friends. They are partners. They are family, and they want each other to be happy too. So you have their kind of lots of angst, you know, going with that. Like I said, I do really like all the shadow hunters. They all kind of have their fun personalities. I really did like Cecily when she hit the scene. Sadly, she's really only in book 3, but I would say probably from start to finish, the side character, you know, that I really enjoyed is Magnus Bane. I really liked Magnus. He's a warlock, and in this world, warlocks and witches are pretty much immortal, like vampires. And while other immortals have kind of lost touch with humanity, they don't really emote as much. They don't really think of love the same way that mortals do, because they've lived so long. They've watched so many loved ones pass away. They've detached themselves from a lot of emotional feelings. And Magnus is kind of wavering on that line where he doesn't feel as much, but then when he meets Will and kind of understands what's going on with him and with Jem and with Tessa, he really takes a liking to Will. Like, I think if Will was available romantically, Magnus, you know, might have, you know, he does flirt a little, but he would have tried to pursue things maybe, but he understands the situation, and he's kind of like his backup, you know. He's kind of like Will's backup. He cares for Will, he cares for Tessa, he cares for Jem. He sees this like youthful life in them, the love that they have for each other, and he's just really wanting to help them, especially Will, to kind of reach happiness, because he sympathizes with Will, I think, the most. And so you kind of see this humanity side from somebody who, all his friends who are also immortal, the other vampires, the other downworlders, they tease him because, oh, you're getting those human feelings, you know, those mundane feelings. And I just really kind of liked that, you know, that aspect of him, that he's really powerful, and you know, and just the way that he goes and helps them as kind of like he's watching over them, and how he's there when they truly need, you know, kind of like a big brother or a father figure. Like, he's there in that supply. And I just really liked him overall. That of all the 3 books, he's probably my favorite. So knowing that he's immortal, and I think he's in the Mortal Instruments, like the television series at least, so knowing that he might be in the future books makes me very, very happy, because like I said, I really liked him, and I am interested to, like I said, see where the story goes. And so if you have read Infernal Devices, if you have read more of the Mortal Instruments series, more of the Cassandra Clare books, let me know. Is Infernal Devices the best part of the series? Is it still a good series? I mean, it seems like it would be, considering it's got movies and TV shows about it, and people, you know, getting the tattoos and everything. But let me know your thoughts. If you have read any of these, were you Team Will? Were you Team Jem? What would you, I guess, would you want to be a shadow hunter? Would you want to be a warlock? Would you want to, you know, what downworlder would you want to be? Like, how would you want to exist in the shadow hunter world, I guess? That's about it for this series. I will continue going on with Knock It Out November and seeing what other achievements I have. I will hope to do, like, I know the next trilogy, like I said, is the Chain of Iron, Chain of Gold, and Chain of Thorns. I will try to do a separate, kind of keep the series that come out together in their own kind of review, and like review them all in general. But like I said, the Infernal Devices series, you know, overall is a 5-star series. It's one of the better series I have read this year. I am completely and utterly understanding now why there is so much hype about the Cassandra Clare Shadowhunter world. And I can't wait to continue with the rest and see what the descendants of these guys have in store. And yeah, I guess I will see you guys in the next one. And yeah. So if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It helps my channel out. Thank you guys for sticking around, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.